Hello and welcome back to Talk Norwich City. Jack Reeve here for my review of the Manchester United game. We've just been beaten. Well, we haven't just been beaten. We lost about 3 hours ago. I've just drove home. Here's Jenny.
Hey.
Yeah, it's quite a long drive in the dark, Jen. On your own as well. There we go. Yeah, Norwich beaten and well beaten today against a fairly weak Manchester United side, actually. Well, in terms of league positioning, they're weak, but when you actually look at the team on the pitch, they've still got a host of world-class players, from David De Gea through to Anthony Martial, Harry Maguire, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's £130 million worth of defensive talent before you go to the others. But Norwich just never at the races today. Never at the races, which is more frustrating than losing. I can take losing, and at times Manchester United did look really good. And I'm sure they'll build off of their win in the week and also their good point against Liverpool last weekend. But just the manner of the defeat is really frustrating, especially off the back of what was a really decent point away at Bournemouth last weekend. I'm not overly convinced with Daniel Farke's first 11. I don't think Moritz Leitner has particularly found his feet in the Premier League this season. I think I would have probably started with Onel Hernandez, and I would have also started with Tom Tribal. I don't think we've sussed out the midfield yet. I like Kenny McLean. I don't overly know what his position is in the Premier League. I like Moritz Leitner. I don't overly know what his position is in the Premier League. I think Alex Tete, we kind of know what his role in the team is, and I think he'd done that okay today. But we just really struggled against Manchester United's high press. We've come up against it a lot this season, and we haven't dealt with it at all well in the majority of the games, except for the game against Manchester City when we just passed through them, and them kind of performances don't happen very often. So we really need to work that out. I think it was really positive to see Daniel Farke make substitutions at half-time. Clearly agreed with me to a certain extent in terms of he got the starting 11 wrong. Todd Cantwell came off, Moritz Leitner came off, Steegman came on and didn't really impact the game at all. Hernandez came on and had a bit more of an impact, scoring a nice goal, and then went and ruined it with the most peculiar celebration, giving it large to the Manchester United fans after they hadn't given him stick for the whole game. And they just kind of laughed at him, and it was a bit embarrassing, really. But except for that, it was just really disappointing. And also, it's worth noting that we saved 2 penalties today. I'm not even going to get onto VAR. I think the 2 decisions were probably right, but just the lack of communication, the amount of time it takes to make a decision, it was one of the most stop-start games I've been to today. And that wasn't helped with VAR whatsoever. 2 really good saves from Tim Krul. He had a really good game today, actually. Made a fantastic save from a close-range header. Can't remember who the header came in from, but it was very, very poor defending that even allowed us to concede 2 headers back-to-back in the penalty box, just completely unmarked. And we're going to concede more goals from set pieces this season if we continue to defend like that. Couldn't really do too much about the 3 goals. The first one, I don't know who's lost Scott McTominay, but he's got miles of space. It's a good finish from him. I thought he was okay, Scott McTominay, but it shows how far United have fallen that he regularly gets into their starting 11. Who scored the second? Oh, it was Rashford, wasn't it? Rashford after his penalty miss. It was a really nice finish, actually. But where was the defence? Where was the defence? Like, he's just miles open. I thought he was offside because there was just no one around him. I think Ibrahim Amadou was the closest defender to him, and he was about 210 miles away. And the third goal was up the other end. That was Martial, was it?
Yeah.
I think it was Martial. It was a nice finish, but again, defence all over the shop. It didn't help that Amadou was injured and finished the game up front. Jamal Lewis went off injured, and also Krul was injured as well. I keep looking to my left to refer to Jenny, who's out of shot, and watch the game from here. What was the overriding opinion of the TV people?
To be honest, the way in which I watched it was very
You don't have to say how.
patchy.
Right.
Just,
Was it an English commentary?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I think maybe because every time we scored, lots of people went onto the...
Every time we scored?
Every time there was a goal, lots of people went onto the stream. So just as the goal was about to happen, it paused. So I feel like I found out on Twitter before I saw it in person. But yeah, I think they just felt sorry for Norwich. They didn't know why we made 2 subs at half time.
Yeah.
Because then Amadou could have gone off. We could have been stronger.
That's true.
Hernandez, fair he didn't start if he's come back from injury.
Yeah, good point.
20 minutes. But Hernandez looked good when he came on. Yeah, Cantwell, he should have gone off. But I don't think Steeperman's like a power substitution that's going to turn your half around, is he? Like,
no.
That's quite defensive.
Definitely. I think not being able to get Steeperman into games has been a real struggle for us this season, because he was so influential to the way we played football last season. He alleviated pressure, he was able to pick the ball up deep and run, and he just hasn't been able to do that this season. I don't blame him. I think he's a fairly limited player. What he does well, but he hasn't been able to do what he does well at all this season. He's been collecting the ball very deep and not progressing up the pitch, and just not really influencing the game as much as we need him to. Which is a real shame. As well as that, Pukki hasn't scored for a little while. He had a fantastic chance today. I'm certainly not having a go at Pukki, but when his goals dry up, where are the other goals coming from? Cantwell had a good chance today and missed. Overall, not a great game, but at the end of the day, this is still a very strong Manchester United side who I expect to progress up the league. We can't get feel too hard done by at losing against teams who've spent £500 million over the past couple of years. So, not the best of days for Norwich City, and teams in and around us are winning games. The next 3 games now, though, are huge for us. It's Brighton, then it's Watford, then it's Everton. 3 teams who are also struggling near the foot of the table. So we will be at Brighton next week, which is really exciting. Thank you to Woodfords for that. So that will be good. Slightly nervous, must admit. Are you?
Yeah, it's on today.
I've never been to Brighton. Oh no, I have been to Brighton. I've been to the ground, but not like the city.
Yeah.
Is it a city?
You've never been to Brighton?
I've been to the football.
Beach and the prom and the town. That's lovely. It's nice.
Never been.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of not looking forward to that bit of it, the football bit.
You're not looking forward to the 90-minute one? No. Are you looking forward to the day?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a nice day out, but I just think it's probably going to lose.
Well, it's a good excuse to go to Brighton.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's nice and close.
Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and we'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.